Welcome to AI Founders Mindset. This podcast dives into the story of visionary founders and the incredible people who power the startup ecosystem. Whether you are building your own venture or simply curious about the world of startups, you are in the right place. Today's episode, the conversation with Ed, the founder CEO at Barricade AI, 7 Pivots to Success, a startup's journey of innovation and resilience. If you like our episode, please subscribe and please give you a like. Okay, let's get started. 行きましょう.
Most people call me Ed.
Ed.
Quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. Do you know Tokyo used to be, it's called Edo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Edo City.
I didn't know that. So Japan was once called Edo City. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. That's cool. Edo. Shout out to
Before westernized.
Oh, before the westernization. Okay, got it. Edo. I did not know that. I just learned that. Thank you. To introduce myself, my name is Ed Choudhry. I'm the CEO and co-founder of a startup called Barricade AI. I'm a co-organizer of a open source group called the Random Access Developer Ninjas, or RAD Ninjas. I'm also a co-organizer. Oh, yeah. I got the sticker. Yeah. And then also I'm a co-organizer of a GDG Mountain View group, which is a Google developer group. So I have my hand in a lot of the open source community of developers, but I also have a startup as well.
Okay, so let's deep dive into your company, Barricade AI.
Yes. So Barricade AI essentially is a multimodal Gen AI service for public safety. So we work with like law enforcement, police officers. We're looking to work with paramedics and firefighters as well. They're pretty much bogged down with administrative processes, so like reporting. The idea is, can we help using AI to help workforce efficiency? Can we streamline their processes? So if they're doing less reporting, they're actually out in the field serving the community and protecting and providing their services. So that's the idea, is that we can make the local government more efficient. We have the new Department of Government Efficiency. They're going to need tools of government efficiency. Essentially, that's what we're doing.
So my understanding is your product it's called Barricade AI.
Barricade AI, yes.
Yes.
Barricade
And
AI.
okay, so your main users are like governmental people.
Yeah. So police right now, law enforcement. We started with law enforcement, and now we're starting to branch out into paramedics and firefighters as well. But I think a good starting point is for the police. There is a huge problem where there's a constraint on resources. So retirement is up, recruitment's down, public sentiment's not the best. So one of the stressful parts is, reporting. Reporting, yeah, like writing out these reports. And then, that can really compound when they have limited time, right? And the city has limited budget on overtime. Yeah. So we want to basically help them, provide them that insight. These body cams, they're capturing what we see and what we hear the same way a human does, and basically have that context that's being seen and being heard extracted in the form of text, and then we provide the analysis and analytics and insights and summarized through a report.
I love that. So actually, our fun fact, we come from New York.
Yeah, New York, baby. Brooklyn, New York. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah. So when I was in New York, especially pandemic time, so many, unfortunately, riot happened in New York.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I can see that. Yeah, no, New York's wild sometimes. I mean, I grew up in the 90s, so that's even, if you know, like, I'm glad to be here. But New York can be pretty wild sometimes. But yeah, crazy to hear you went through some ruggedization.
Right? So the problem I saw exactly, there are many riot or protest. So NYPD people, New York police people, have to stand in long time in super cold winter time, and they have to check, and then of course they have. Now I can understand they had to report every day, right?
Yeah. Actually, right now, because of Prop 36, which just got voted in, crime is illegal again. So that means there's going to be more work for the officers. So it's good. It's kind of a good thing for us because it's a tool to make them more efficient.
Yes.
So it's gotten really lax here in California. But again, it's state level. Every state's a little bit different in how they operate. But across the board, this is a great tool for them.
Ed, so you found their pain point, and then you came up with the solution.
Actually, yes. So this was pivot. This was pivot number 7. Yeah, so we pivoted. We pivoted 7 times. I left my full-time job, and then for about a year, with my co-founder, we basically tried a whole assortment of different AI tools. We've started actually essentially building a war chest that now we're utilizing in all aspects today. But we went through like 7 pivots, and then this one actually came from a friend of mine from the Bronx, who's it came from the Bronx. Shout out to Efren Segovia. Shout out to my boy from Breaks Crew. That's my old breakdancing crew. Anyway, he basically has 3 kids. Last thing he wants to do is report till 3 a.m. Because he has to be up at 6 to bring his kids to school. So that's a really simple pain point. It services, his need that if he can, streamline, go from 45 minutes to 2 hours on one report, now down to a matter of minutes, proofreading it, just checking it, sending it to the sergeant for approval. Now he's out the door and he's ready to go be with his family.
Amazing. Okay, thanks to your friend from Bronx.
From the Bronx, yeah.
Okay, cool. This is great because I knew many founders, they have idea. They fall in love for their technology idea.
Yes.
They didn't see end user's pain point.
No, yeah, exactly. Don't fall in love with ideas. If you have an idea, get it to the end user as soon as possible. And if they're like, oh, it's cool, it's nice. All right, cool. Yeah. Would you pay for it? And then there's a hesitation, drop it. Or find more end users, get more data, basically get a good data set, see the pattern, and then move forward with conviction. So that's, I think, one thing is important. The founders need to move with conviction. They need to be convinced that this is a thing, because when they move forward, it's when they talk to investors and they need stakeholders to help join this mission, they need to be able to share that conviction. And if others don't have it, it actually starts to move really slow, and you slowly will find out that that wasn't the thing. So I would say keep moving until the end user is like literally punched in the face, like, I need this right now. Like out of all of our pivots, when we showed that demo to an officer, they were like, wow, like, oh, I need this. This is great. How did you know about that? And then we told them the story. So yeah, I would say move with conviction.
Yeah.
Otherwise, drop the idea and pivot.
You are right. So I have so basically 3 questions. 1, how did you meet your co-founder?
Oh yeah, so my co-founder and I, we met. So I was running a place called the Hacker Dojo. I was the executive director for 5 years. It was only supposed to be 2 years, but then COVID hit. So your COVID experience, my COVID experience. My mission was to make sure that this nonprofit doesn't die. 20,000 nonprofits died during the COVID. This one actually sustained and now is, thriving right now. So I was an executive director there. I was helping founders connect founders to, others that could help support their missions. The Techquisitive with some ideas and connecting them. I was kind of a people connector, like the human search engine we used to call it. And just connect folks. And then, my co-founder, actually, he stood out because he was a great builder and he could move fast. And, he was from the East Coast. His wife got a job at Google, and then they came over here. And then when I left the Hacker Dojo, he asked me, he's like, hey, do you want to squat up and let's try some ideas? And that's where we went on that mission for, several months, doing all those pivots. And then we landed on Barricade.
Amazing. And then, did you join any accelerator?
Yes. So very early, we joined Founders University. And we did the cohort there, but that was during one of our pivots. So Founders University, if you do well in that cohort, you can graduate to launch. But literally the week, I would say the week before the demo day of that, we were pivoting. So it was like, we don't know. So we wound up not, going forward with that. And then we also got into another accelerator called NECX. So it's actually a Japanese backed startup from NEC, which is a $2 trillion company from Japan. So they're more of a venture studio. So if you have an idea and you don't really have the technical aptitude, they can help you out and get you more resources and graduate. I think we were okay on the technical side, but it was great to work with them because they have a big distribution. The parent company has a big distribution of public safety around the world. We're actually talking to the parent company, NEC, in Singapore right now.
Amazing. Okay, so maybe our audience are not familiar about
Public safety.
Yeah, could you please explain?
So public safety derives from law and order, and that's been around since the Roman times. So this is definitely a customer that's not going away. That's checkbox number one. So public safety essentially is helping support the infrastructure of these cities where there's high density of folks. I think, and it does distribute to smaller towns as well. But making sure that if there's a fire, there's support. If someone is hurt, there's support. And if there's a crime being done or being committed, that there is a response system in place to ensure the safety of the people. So if you have a safe city, then you have a very thriving, very tech forward. I'm kind of going into like SF being very tech forward, but still like needs more public safety help. We're working on it. There's some changes happening, but yeah, we need to accelerate. And I think public safety is a very, very important aspect of a city infrastructure that needs to move forward. For instance, we're in Singapore right now. It's probably one of the safest cities in the entire world. And we now know why is because they throw so much resource at ensuring the safety of that city, and there's low crime. Also, like if you get caught spitting on the street, you could like get in trouble. No chewing gum. It's pretty strict. But on the other side of it, I think cities like San Francisco, New York City could really need tools to help thrive, and because there's such a high density, when you have a lot of people crammed in one space, things happen. Good things happen, bad things happen. So you got to balance the both.
I see totally. San Francisco City, they need your product.
They do need it.
Yeah.
We're working on it. There's a new mayor, so we'll probably be trying to chat with them soon. We're working in smaller cities, so right now it's more about can we help smaller cities with not so many use cases, because if you go into a big city too fast as a small startup, you might get buried in edge cases and you might not make it out because you'll be so busy. And by the time you get out of there, you might have competitors who have already moved pretty quickly.
You are right. And then the big city has many politics, so
yes.
It's better to focus on the small city first.
Yeah. Like 100,000, 200,000 population or less is probably like our sweet spot right now. But then again, we're just out about less than a year in operations, a year old right now.
Amazing. Okay, so next question. I really curious about your 7 times pivoting story.
Yes.
Could you please tell us about it?
The 7 pivots. Yeah. Oh my God. So we were in what you could call pivot hell. Pivot hell. That's a known term, pivot hell. So what we were doing after our first pivot, our first one was, and I'm not going to go through all of them. I'll kind of like sprinkle through it. The first one was co-pilot for angel investing. Can we give angel investors the VC powers, like the analyst? And so that was one thing we pushed for about 3.5 months. It was a great product. People loved it. But it was also kind of like a dual marketplace for founders to get their pitch decks judged, and then VCs can get, see which ones we're giving good grades to. That was kind of the trade-off. But we really couldn't find an end user that was willing to pay enough. And what we learned is that for angel investing, it's a very relationship-based thing. That decision to invest in a startup is going to come from the gut, from that conviction that they have. It's not going to come really from like an analysis report, where this would thrive in like a PE environment, a private equity firm might, if this streamlines the analysis, instead of a team of 10, you have a team of 2. That's where it could thrive. And I think I've seen some startups do that. So anyway, long story short, we pivoted away from that. And then we became more nimble when it came to the idea. And that's when we're like, no, if we don't get to the end user fast enough with the idea and showing immediate value, let's drop it. So then we went to so right now Notebook LLM has this thing where they're using research papers to turn them into podcasts. We were doing that last year. We were calling it papers to pods, and we would use my voice and Kyle's voice essentially to take archive research papers and then create them into podcasts. But then we found out researchers who go into certain research papers, they kind of know the research paper already. They kind of just go through the abstract, look at the calculations, and then find the results. They don't really need to, especially if it's like a domain specific type of thing. They don't need to go through they don't need to hear the whole podcast. It's the majority of the people that are going to archive. So then we started learning, like, nope, that's not enough. I also the market size was kind of small. Then we went to, what was next? Oh, songs to swag. So can you, this was for the Outside Lands hackathon. Essentially what you could do is take any song, and then we extract the context, and then what we can do is formulate a picture Of some sort. Yeah, we were going to use a forked version of our own version of Stable Diffusion and create a graphic for you, and then we put it on a hoodie or a T-shirt, and then your favorite song can have its own graphic, and then you can buy it from us. So then we did that. We did AI travel assistant. We did pose tracking, so you can put your body on a professional dancer and then upload the video to TikTok for $1. There was, what else was there? There was so many others. Voice assistant, like that's huge. It's so funny because it's like so huge and hyped right now, conversational AI and voice AI, but we were going to do it specifically for wine bars. And if anybody wants to take these ideas, you're free to do it. Good luck. But what we did, we were like, it's not the good timing right now for us. So we were doing this voice assistant for wine bars, for like a concierge. AI concierge for wine bars. And then finally, there's probably a couple more, but I don't know what number I'm on. And then we finally landed on Barricade AI. So yeah, it was fun. But at the same time, when you're in it, it's not fun. But when you get out of it and you're like, you can see in hindsight, it's like, oh, that was cool. It helped us build up to what we're doing today.
Amazing. So what I learned from this just story, one, so pivoting is, I think it's not easy because, this product is we already create high resolution. And it's our baby. We don't want to bye-bye to baby, right?
Yep. You don't want to you don't want to marry to the idea. You want to be able to say, it's not for you. You're building for others. So if you can't build for you, you might have some drivers to why you're building, but you need to build for others. And if it's not impacting others, it's not really a product you can sell, and it won't be helping anybody. So you got to figure out how are you actually helping someone else.
Okay, so when you have to make a decision to no more pivot, is only you made a decision or with your team?
No, it's a collaborative effort. So, it's all the data that we have to, so what we do is we basically document the responses from the end user, and then we look at what are the impact values. And then if you could get down and sit down with an interview with an end user, you try to really drive down, you let them talk, but you get to the point where you're not really selling, you're actually just being really open about it. I think that's where you're going to start getting the insights of is this a product you can move forward with or not? But I still think it's kind of like if the product gets put in front of an end user, at least at its rawest stage where it's just rough, and they can see it and they get excited about it, and then they start telling you what you could do with it. Now you might have some signal. Yeah. So it's about finding the signal and getting out the noise. Whenever they're like, "Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's nice." That's not it. That's not it. Yeah.
I see. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's talk about your next milestone in the next 1 year.
Next milestone, fully rolled out with 3 contracts in Singapore, 25 to 40 police stations in the Bay Area. We have a couple in other states as well, but I would like to roll those out, at least for the startup. It's just deploying right now, executing and deploying as fast as possible. I'll leave the financials out of it, but that's pretty much what we want to do.
How about your private life milestone? Do you have something? Whatever.
Oh yeah, no, I want to shed 15 pounds, get back in shape. I actually want to start getting into breaking. There's a battle every year called Freestyle Session in LA.
What is it?
Yeah, I want to get back into breaking. So I used to be a b-boy. I was a breakdancer for
in Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn. So I used to get that Brooklyn rock. So my crew, actually some of my crewmates who are still active today. Anyway, but I would like to get back into breaking. Personally, I would like to get back into breaking, shed some weight, maybe get back into some of my Kyokushinkai. I used to be a martial artist, so you never used to be, but I was an active practitioner.
I think you love, learning new technology and deploy the product. Besides, you love exercise.
Yes, yeah. My sensei says running water never goes stale. Running water never goes stale.
Never goes stale.
So if you keep moving, you don't go, you never, get stale.
I see. Yeah. It's good. That's why I can imagine you are a super curious person.
Yeah. No, I would love to dive into a lot more of the technology stack that we're building today. I think there is a lot more groundwork that needs to be done in AI. And I would like to help push that envelope in regards to AI and what it could do. I think we're in a good space where there's a lot of unstructured data that doesn't have a lot of access. So I think we can help leverage and utilize that to help others. Yeah.
The 3 key takeaways from Conversation with Ed Part 1. 1. Building for real-world impact. Ed's journey with Barricade AI highlights the importance of addressing real pain points for end users by focusing on the need of law enforcement, paramedics, and firefighters. Barricade AI streamlines administrative tasks, allowing these professionals to focus on serving their communities. This approach exemplifies how startups can create meaningful impact by solving practical problems. 2. The 7 times pivoting, never give up. Ed's journey of 7 pivots before landing on Barricade AI underscores the value of resilience and adaptability in startup success. His advice to founders is clear: don't fall in love with idea. Instead, listen to users' feedback, gather data, and move forward only when there's strong validation and conviction from end users. His journey shows that persistence and flexibility can lead to breakthroughs. 3. Balancing innovation with personal growth. Beyond his professional milestones, Ed emphasized the importance of maintaining personal goals and a curious mindset. Whether it's shedding weight, returning to breakdancing, or advancing martial arts, his philosophy, running water never goes stale, is reminder that continuous movement and learning fuel both personal and professional success. Thank you so much for watching our episode today. So next episode is the conversation with Ed Part 2. Stay tuned. バイバイ。チャオ。またね。